Good morning, I'm Christina and we are going to be learning how to clean brushes today. It can be a struggle to clean your horse brushes if you do not have a barn that you are currently boarding at, or have access to hot water, a wash stall, or any indoor facilities. Cleaning brushes can be cumbersome if you do not have the correct facilities. It can get frustrating if you do not have a wash rack or a wash stall or a kitchen sink nearby. Today we are going to be demonstrating how to clean your brushes without any of those facilities available to us. This can be useful if you are at a horse show and need to clean your brushes, if you are boarding at a friend's facility, or have them in your own backyard and have not yet had a barn up where you have sufficient plumbing or a wash stall. To clean your brushes, you will need a towel, a large bucket, your grooming supplies, and shampoo of your choice. The soap that I like to use is just Parents' Choice from Walmart. It isn't very expensive, which makes it ideal for cleaning horse brushes or large horses. If you have one set of brushes that you would like to clean, the 6-quart Fortiflex bucket will work just fine. You can use a 5-gallon Fortiflex bucket and that will work even better for the agitation aspect of cleaning your brushes. But since we are doing 3 sets of brushes today, I decided to go with my 40-gallon muck tub. Doing this will allow me to have agitation in the bucket in order to clean all of my brushes at once rather than doing 3 separate cycles or sessions with my brushes. You also need a towel that is relatively clean in order for your brushes to dry on. I will wash this towel at my house in the washing machine about once every 3 months, 2 to 3 months, depending on how dirty it gets and how often I clean my brushes. I like to clean my brushes once every month in order to just get all the dirt and dandruff off. Since I do teach lessons, a lot of people handle them, and so now I'm having to clean them a little bit more often due to the COVID-19. Step 1 is setting out all of your equipment. We have our towel here in the sun, and we also have our bucket in the sun. Having them in the sun is very important to warming up your water. If you do not have access to a heated water source, it can make it very difficult and cold for you to clean your brushes. Hot water kills bacteria, and in order for you to have hot water, you would need a hot water heater or some sort of heating unit, such as a electric kettle or something along those lines, in order to heat your water. Unfortunately, we do not have that here, so we will be having our bucket in the sun for a little while after we fill it up in order to raise the temperature of the water. We also have our towel in the sun, and that'll help our drying process. And you want to choose for both of these items to have them in complete sun without moving them. You also want to think about dumping. Earlier, I said that I use Parents' Choice from the Walmart brand as my soap of choice. If you have a biodegradable soap and you're worried about killing the grass around you, please use that. Also, if it is your property, you won't have to ask the current owners which soap that they would prefer. But since I am on a friend's property right now, I will ask her which soap to use. If she wants a biodegradable soap, I will honor her requests and get a biodegradable soap. If not, I will use my soap of choice, which happens to be the Walmart Parents' Choice brand. We are going to dry clean our brushes prior to putting them in our bucket with soap. That'll just allow the brushes to stay cleaner, the water to stay cleaner, and then you won't get all of the yucky wet hair that sticks to the bristles as much. Since I am doing 3 sets of brushes, I like to take them out a set at a time. and clean them out individually. We have a flick brush, we have a hoof pick, face brush, mane, comb, another hoof pick, very stiff brush, our curry comb, our soft brush, and our medium stiff brush. Also another hoof pick and a shedding blade slash brush cleaning blade. So I will go ahead and clean all of these brushes out prior to putting them in our big bucket of soapy water. In order to clean out some of the brushes, you can use your brush cleaning blade and run it along the bristles. You can see all of the dirt lifting up and just allowing those bristles to be free of all of the dirt. I usually like to hold it sideways or in a downward angle so that I can get everything off without putting it back into the brush. If you clean with an upright brush, it'll allow all of the dirt to fall deeper into the bristles. So you want to hold it sideways or in a downward angle. So that brush is now clean. I will take all of the extra hairs off just with my hand. And that brush looks pretty clean to me. Okay, so we are going to start cleaning all of our other brushes now. Again, we are going to want to keep our main brush flat and use our shedding blade or brush cleaning blade and go with the hair. You can see all of that dirt and hair coming off of it. We got a bunch of hair there, so we're just gonna use this and go along the edges. This is one of the more popular brushes to use on our lesson horses. We again have a bunch of hair there. We're just gonna pull it off, put it aside, and then go back to cleaning. Now, if you do not have one of these blades, you can purchase one, or you can use a stiffer brush and then you can rub back and forth. Make sure that you clean each brush individually and that you inspect each one. This is a great time to see if you need to buy new brushes since you have bristles coming out, or you just have some that are super worn and wouldn't be comfy or as effective grooming your horses. Now with soft bristles, you can see there's a lot of hair hanging out, but you don't want to be as aggressive as if you were to have a stiff brush or the medium brush that I had just shown you. We are going to be very gentle since these bristles are a little bit more delicate than the other ones. I'm going to pull out the hair that we see in order to help our brushes out. And it's always fun to have music playing while you're doing this, or a friend to come and help you. And that is how I clean my soft, medium, and hard bristle brushes. So we have our 4 brushes that we are currently cleaning and they are soaking. I typically like to have my brushes soak for 15 minutes all the way to an hour, depending on how dirty they are. This is the second cleaning of the spring summer season, and I only cleaned them about 2 to 3 weeks ago, so they're not extremely dirty, but I like to let them soak for at least 15 minutes. If you soak them longer than that, great. You just have to be careful of the soap and how abrasive it can be to the glue on the bristles that attach into the wood handles. So just be aware of that. That's why it's always good to inspect your brushes prior to using them, and also clean them often and inspect your brushes to again make sure that your horses are happy and healthy. Now to clean all of the other brushes, we again just have our little face brush here. We're going to carefully go around and just get all of that little face hair off. Face brushes are usually in between the soft bristle and the medium or the hard bristle. So it's always good to make sure that you are checking all of the bristles, make sure that one of them doesn't poke your horse in the eye or are dangerous. And fingers are a great use of cleaning brushes too. You can also feel if the bristles are loose and need to be replaced. The glue that I was talking about resides in these little wells that are with the brushes, the bristles of the brushes. So just pull on those, make sure that none of them are coming out. If they are brand new brushes, some will come out, and that is okay. But if you have older brushes, you may need to replace them in the near future. Cleaning curry combs, there's not a lot to do with them, especially if you have these jelly ones. I have a typical curry comb that I'll show you in a moment, but these ones I like to just bang on my hand or on a stiff surface, and these usually clean up pretty well. You just want to make sure that there's not a ton of dirt or hair or shedding hair anywhere inside of there. It'll make it very difficult to clean once all of the hair is wet. Cleaning hoof picks. Now, this can be one of the most challenging things. These are a little dirty, so I'll use another hoof pick. And I will just kind of scrape it clean. And then I'll use my hands to kind of clean that tip off. And this one's a little dirty too, so I'm going to do the same thing. And try and scrape it off as best that you can. If you have older hoof picks, they might have a little rust on them, so just be wary. Again, take into consideration that you might have to buy some new ones in the future. It's not helpful if you have a broken or a breaking hoof pick. You want these guys to be strong and reliable. Now, to clean the brushes of the hoof pick, you can either rub them together and get all the nasty stuff out, or you can use your shedding blade again, shedding bristle blade, whatever you call it, and you can go through and just clean it to the best of your abilities. Now that looks so much better than when we started. Let's see if we can get the other one even better. Now I've had this one a longer time and haven't brushed it or cleaned it as often. So you can see the bristles aren't exactly straight anymore, and you have a little bit of this dirt and discoloration right there. So it's just important to make sure that you know where your brushes and hoof picks are at with their lifespan. This one I'll probably replace or demote it to a feed bin cleaner or a water bucket cleaner eventually. But in order to do that, I'll have to bleach it just to make sure all the bacteria is off of it before I put it near any horse's food or water. Where'd you go? Now these brushes are pretty simple. You don't have to do a ton with them. Just make sure that you have all of your extra hair all out. But that one's pretty simple to clean. Now, if you have hair brushes that look like this, with all of the hair sticking out, go ahead and pull it all out. Again, put it in a pile, let it go into the breeze, whatever. If there's more hair inside there, you can take your hoof pick, just like you do at home. Say you have a hoof pick to clean out your hairbrushes at home, but you can use a hoof pick or you can use another brush. And go both directions and lift out all of that extra hair. Now it is looking so much better, and we won't have to deal with any wet pony hair. All right, we have all of our brushes that we've washed. They are soaking. We also are going to put in our hoof picks and our additional brushes. You notice that the hoof picks all fell to the bottom, and that's perfectly fine. You'll just have to dig for them later and make sure that you get all of your grooming supplies back.
Left a star glowing in your eyes when I'm not aware. You left a scar. I fall into your lies all again. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Let me feel it again. Let me feel it. Fall into you.
If you have one of these curry comb massage ball roller brushes, the ones that have the combo, you are more than welcome to throw these in there. These little things can pop off, but it's just really a push in on all four sides. And then this will pop off with the little bearing inside. So don't worry if one of them pops off while you're grooming or while you're cleaning these. It's actually good to pull them off once in a while. You see all that dirt and grime on that ball. These are magnetic, so they'll actually stick together if you do lose them. You see all that dirt and grime? I will pull these apart for my horses, put them back together, just so that the balls can be free rolling again. Now, if you have one of these and you didn't realize that they came apart and your balls aren't rolling as well as they used to, that would be the first thing that I would check. Pull them all apart, take all the balls out, clean all the balls, clean the casings which the balls sit, and then go ahead and put everything back together and see if that won't work. So, to clean your grooming bags or buckets, I will usually just squirt them out. You can rinse and clean them or throw them in with your big bucket and clean them there too. This one I'm just gonna squirt out. I love this little shower caddy that I got. It has tons of pockets and it's all like this rubber mesh. And so you won't have to worry about hair because it falls right through, or water that falls right through. If you have one of these bags that do not have a mesh bottom, you can squirt it out or put it in our big cleaning bin that we are working with currently, and you can rinse it out, wash it out, and then just hang it upside down on a T-post or corral panel and just make sure it all dries before you re-put your brushes back in. We are over here with the soapy water buckets. We have our brushes from all three sets of our horses in here. It is important to agitate this bucket. If you just let them sit in there, some of the dirt will come out and some of the hair will too. But just like a washing machine in your clothes, you want to agitate in order to get all of the dirt and grime out and make them the cleanest that you can, so you don't have to redo this for a little while. So I usually use my arm to agitate this.
I found the rain dripping down your eyes when I'm not around. I found myself, but I fall into your lies all again.
If you do not have a hose, you can grab another water bucket. I would say 2 more water buckets so that you have your sudsy water, your mildly sudsy water, and then your clean water. That'll just help the cleaning process if you do not have a hose with a sprayer. But if you do, go ahead and use it. I usually like to spray at a high volume and a high pressure in order to get all of the suds out of my brushes. But as you can see, they've just been sitting there for 5 to 10 minutes and they're just kind of all sudsy, soapy. Everything's wet, everything's covered. I have the bristles down so that they don't dry out. Dried soap is very hard to get off of brushes. So today's not a super warm day, but it's warm enough. It's about 70 degrees to clean brushes. So it's a very nice day. Not the best day to stick your arm in cold hose water. But if it was like 90, 100 degrees, I'd probably fill this bucket up all the way and then allow some of the water to evaporate while I was having a longer soak time. So just keep that into consideration as you're leaving your brushes in there for a considerable amount of time. Now we're going to squirt off our brushes. There are 3 different ways to set your brushes on the towel. You could set it bristles down, which is my favorite way. It allows the bristles to drain away from the bristle glue, and it allows my hand, acting as the towel, to soak up everything that comes down those bristles. You could also face it with the bristles sideways, but this can cause the bristles close to my hand or the towel to squish and compress, which can lead to your bristles and your grooming tools being deformed and you can't reset them back. Or you could put them facing the hard handle down, and that'll allow the water and whatever residue of soap to go down into the glue reservoirs down here, and your bristles can become even more brittle. So we were going to set them this way on the towel, and we're just going to move down the line of all the brushes. Now this curry comb looks so much better than when we started. We're gonna squirt it out. This is just from soaking in there for about 15 to 20 minutes. So it's already taken all of the dirt out in between the rings. So we're just gonna go ahead, squirt this off. Again, put our curry comb face down and then let it dry in the sun. And then same thing with the hoof brush. I like to spray into it in order to get all of the hoof gunk out, and just makes it look nice and pretty, back in alignment. When you're doing your curry combs, make sure that you get each side extremely well, and also the inside where your hand goes. If you have any allergic reactions to soap, or your skin gets very agitated with some of the dried soap products that are in the equine market or just in the market in general, just make sure that you clean also where your hand goes. Now to put these on the towel, it's a little different, but we're going to try and set them upright like this so that they can dry. You can set them this way, or you can set them on a comb or lean them against something, but I usually take the largest side and place it on the towel just like that. You can kind of just tuck them behind other ones while they're drying. It'll help put those bristles back into alignment so your bristles look brand new, nice and clean. So this one wasn't pre-cleaned, and so we have all of that hair all of my fingers. So you can see the difference that pre-cleaning really does make in cleaning out all of your brushes. Even though it takes that extra little bit of time, it can save you in the long run. So after you have squirted everything off, you are going to let these dry in the sun for however long. Do not put your brushes away wet. Leave them overnight if you have to. This is very easy to pick up and move also if you have to. I chose a spot that I do not need to move it if they do need an overnight drying session. And then in the morning, I will just organize everything, put them back in their brush boxes, and we will be ready to brush them again. So after we have all of the brushes cleaned and they're drying in the sun, we have to dump the water somewhere. Whether you have 1 bucket or 3, you will have to dump the water somewhere. This is a pretty heavy bucket, and I've already cleared it with the property owners, and they just want me to dump the bucket, and then I'll just hose it out, make sure it's all clean, and then I'll flip it over and allow it to dry. And then just make sure that you clean up after yourself. Any hair, any fur that you have left behind, wet or dry, please try and make sure that you clean it up. Be responsible, be respectful of the property that you're on. Here are our buckets and our brushes. They're all drying now. We washed out our 2 black buckets. Our mesh ones we didn't touch today. They weren't very dirty. I just kind of brushed them out and they seem to be doing fine. And we will leave these out to dry until chores are done, and then I'm going to come back and check them and see if there are any that are dry and then I can put away. Obviously, you wouldn't have done this right before you have a lesson or right before you have a big show coming up, like within the day. Would be after everything's all put away, your horses are having a day off, so you don't have to use your freshly cleaned brushes until they are dry. So you can see all of our brushes have now dried about 6 hours later from a nice breeze we had today. You can see all of the bristles are nice and plump and even and ready to go on whichever horse we decide to groom first. You can see even on the purple ones, I've had the purple ones the longest for about 3-4 years now, and they still look bright and pretty, and I've never lost a bristle on them. Here's a flick brush with the longer bristles, and all of the grooming tools are all nice and clean, and they're ready to go back into their respective clean buckets and totes. So I like to arrange my brushes, especially in buckets, a certain way. I like to put them bristle to bristle. So I'll take 2 similar brushes. This is the soft brush and the medium stiff, and I like to intertwine them like this. So all of the hard sides are together. We'll place it in the bucket. Now, if we have a single one that doesn't have a buddy, like our flick brush, I'll try and put that as close to the edge as we can. The small one we'll just put in this little crevice. We have this brush that also goes with this tote, so we'll just put that in there. And we have our green brushes and hoof pick. We'll put those in there as well. We also have our clear gel curry that'll go in here. And we will put this shedding blade in here since he is still shedding out. And this looks so much better than what we had earlier. And here we have all of our buckets and brushes that are nicely cleaned and put away. You can see how organized they are. And this one, we tried to get it bristle to bristle, but since they were different sizes, we did the best that we could. And you can just see how clean and neat and tidy they all look. And now you're ready for your next grooming session. Thank you for cleaning brushes today with K&B Lessons. If you guys liked this video or like these types of videos, go ahead and subscribe and like this video. If you have any ideas for additional videos that you would like us to cover, please comment those down below. Otherwise, have a wonderful day and a great ride.